Hi, welcome to Inconvenient Health. I'm Evan Sachs of the Washington Heights-Inwood Mask Block, and today I am talking with Dr. Marjorie Roberts, who is a wonderful, wonderful COVID safety advocate and life coach, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Hmm.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So do you want to introduce yourself a bit, talk about how you got into COVID advocacy and life coaching?
It's been a journey. It started back in March of 2020. I was walking home from the mailbox and I lost my balance. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought I stumbled. And that happened, I'm gonna say maybe around maybe about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And by this time the sun went down that night, my life had forever changed. I had contracted COVID at my place of employment, which I was managing a gift shop in the hospital at the time. And it just all of a sudden, my world just started to spiral out of control. So by the end of 2020, by November or December of 2020, I had been diagnosed with spots on my liver, swollen lymph nodes in my lungs, nodules in my lungs, sarcoidosis in my lungs, and my teeth had started to fall out. My hair had started to fall out. So I was in a space where, like many other people, I didn't know what was going on with me. But I had found a community of people online that were going through pretty much the same thing that I was going through. I had joined this group started by Amy Watson called Long Haulers at the time, Long Haulers. She started that. And I also was a member of Survivor Corps, which was started by Diana Barrett. So those two women, they threw me a lifeline and helped me find, like I said, people that were suffering like myself. But at the same time, I discovered early on that people were suffering from so much loss. We were suffering, and it was a lot of people. For as many people that were suffering, it was more people that just didn't give a damn. They didn't care. They wanted the world to open back up. They wanted the world to go back to the way that things were. But myself and thousands of other people were in that realization in 2020, knew there was no going back because of the amount of suffering and amount of loss that we all were going through. So in being in that community, people were so hurt and people were losing so much. They couldn't talk. They just couldn't talk about it. They just couldn't, for whatever reason. It was like eerily silent. It was eerily silent from the people that was suffering, and it was eerily silent from the people that wanted us to be quiet and don't talk about COVID, and wanted us to think that we made it up, wanted us to think that it was a figment of our imagination, that we wanted attention. And that fueled my anger. It fueled my anger because I'm here in Atlanta where people had so many platforms. We had so many people that I thought was going to come to our rescue. I thought people that had the platforms, the ushers, the Atlanta housewives, just people that had these platforms. And I kept waiting for them to use them. I kept saying, okay, the cavalry coming. They're going to, somebody going to start talking about this. It never happened. It never happened. And that made me angry because where was everybody? Where was Usher? Where was T.I.? Where were all these people with these platforms here in Atlanta that weren't saying anything? So I took it upon myself to speak up. I was like, I refused to suffer in silence because my whole world was crumbling around me. I was in amongst people that they were losing their mom, their dad, their sisters, their brothers, their grandmas at an alarmingly high rate. There were people that this one gentleman, he lost his mom and dad in the same day. I had another friend that her mom and dad died in the same week. I had another friend that she said goodbye to her mom through the nursing home window. So all of these things were going on. Hospitals was full. If you remember, New York was full of people in refrigerators that had lost their life. And during that time, one of my good friends, my lifelong friend, Sergeant Gary Mitchell, who was 82nd Airborne paratrooper, 55, trained to kill, he died. He died from COVID. So again, I'm seeing all of these things happening. Meanwhile, my body is doing stuff that my teeth, my gums started to look like the worst thunderstorm you had ever seen. My gums were black and angry looking, and the smell that was coming from my mouth, I couldn't even stand it. But again, COVID is not real. COVID is not real. COVID doesn't do all these things. So all this was still going on with me, but it was still people that was worse off than I was. So Diana Barrett, whom I will forever hold in the highest of esteem, started me doing interviews. I did like she was just like, do this interview, do this interview, do this ABC, NBC. Yeah, just do these interviews, just talk about what was happening. And I did. Same thing with Amy Barrett. Amy, just like do these interviews, because as an African American person, I kept, like I said, I kept waiting for people, no, it was my own community at first that treated me bad. It was like, I was getting emails, I was getting texts, I was getting these, oh, I got COVID too, but I wish I could be like you and talk about it. What the hell? So I'm dealing with all of this. Meanwhile, I was doing every interview that came my way. I was doing interviews. Even with the New York Times, they did a pictorial of me and other people, and they sent a photographer here to spend a day with me and to capture moments. After that, I ran up on another group, Survivors for Change, that was started pretty much by Chris Karcher, another amazing person that threw me a lifeline. And through that group, I began to facilitate other people. Every Thursday night we would meet. We would meet every Thursday night. We would meet and we would cry together. We would laugh together. We would just support one another and give each other the strength to go ahead to keep up the fight. So the advocacy started for me in 2020. And it took off in 2020. It took off in 2021. It took off in 2022. And then I was approached by NYU University, one of their top cardiologists. They were going to start this Recover initiative. And it was comprised of Emory University, NYU University, Grady Hospital, the Hope Clinic, and the other one is, I can't think of it, brain fog. But we came together and I was a part of the Recover Initiative from day one. We met, we discussed, we talked, because for me, I thought that that was, again, the cavalry had arrived. I thought that this was going to be the way for me to get my government's attention. Because not that I always felt that I was better than anybody, but I was in the military. I was honorably discharged from the military. I had, at one point, I had purchased a home. I had raised my daughter to be a successful member of society against all odds of being a single parent. And then I went to school for 9 straight years to get every degree that they said to get. So in doing all that, I thought I had, I thought I was ready. I thought I had checked all the boxes to be a citizen of this amazing, what I thought United States of America was going to be. So doing all of this, I was still advocating. I was advocating. I was speaking up. I was showing up, and I was doing everything that I could do to bring attention to this. I always knew that COVID is never going to go away. It's never going to go away, even though they want us to believe that it's going to. It can't go away because of all the hurt, all the pain, everything lost, like myself. Everything that I worked for my entire life was wiped out in 5 years. Everything that I thought my retirement and it was going to be like, COVID took that away. So I had to speak up. I had to coach people through life because somebody had to do it. Somebody had to give people a reason to smile. Somebody had to let another person know it's gonna be okay. You've been married to a man for 45 years and then you lose him to COVID. I had to be that person to say it's gonna be okay. So the advocacy became more than I could ever imagine, because I always knew I wanted to be a life coach. But COVID took it to a whole nother level because I was able to reach thousands of people all over the world. So in knowing that, even though financially I took a hit, mentally I took a hit, emotionally I took a hit, and Lord knows my body took a hit, I'm still standing. I'm still standing. And yet again, I smile because God spared my life. And I have been paid back by just warm messages, even today, having this conversation with you, because I had told my family, I was like, I stopped doing the interviews. I had stopped all of that because it was like, nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. But I still kept up the mask wearing. I still, in my own way, I wear a mask every single day that I leave out of my house. I have on a mask. I don't go in any public spaces without a mask. I don't care about the stares and the glares and the things that people say, because I know I don't want to ever get that sick again in life. So I do everything that I can do to protect myself I am a founding member of Mask Together America. Julie is one of the most phenomenal human beings ever. And that is just absolutely nobody that can make me go outside without a mask on. Nobody. I don't care. I don't care what I don't do concerts anymore. I have this one young man that I've been following for 30 years, Brian Colson. He comes every year, he comes to Atlanta every year in an outdoor, he performs outdoors. That is the only person that I will ever spend my hard-earned Social Security check to see, because during COVID, every Friday night from his home, he would go live and play his music and entertain myself and others. And it started out with a few people, and now he still does it to this day. So it's very seldom that I go to a movie, and if I do, I have on a mask. When I go to church, I have on a mask. When I go to my part-time job, which is at a very high-end store, I wear a mask because I wore a mask to the interview, and I told them the mask does not come off. I work in customer service, and when I see a person come through those doors with a mask on, we connect. I see wearing this mask as a way of protecting myself, because people are sick. They are coughing, they are hacking. And it's one thing about COVID, it's one thing that those of us know, we know that cough. It's very distinctive. It's unlike, it's nothing like the flu. It's nothing, when that COVID cough, it comes from your entire soul. And no matter how you, no. So I automatically turn around and look, and I think to myself, thank Jesus I got on my mask. Now, people say masks don't work. I am living proof that masks do work. They work, because I have not, by the grace of God, knock on wood, had no other COVID incidents since 2020. Because I know in 2020, I know where I caught COVID, but I don't know who. And it took me a long time to get over the anger that I had for that person. But because it was so early in the game, because it was March of 2020, and I was in the hospital that has since closed down, the entire hospital closed down, it's been torn down. And I often wonder, did that person that gave me, whatever happened? But I have an amazing medical team that support my mask wearing. My therapist supports my mask wearing, my mask. My primary physician, she supports me wearing a mask. My lung doctor, who I just simply adore because she just made me give me back my life and helps me to monitor the soccer doses, and she, things like that. All because I wear a mask. I am thankful for this conversation. I'm thankful. Thank you for reaching out, because it lets me know January 1st, 2026, my work is not over. It's not over. A couple of years ago, I did a speech on the steps of the link at the Washington Monument. and Julie was there. It was a lot of other people that I had met over the course of the years, and we all came together. And I thought that that speech, I thought that was it, because I stood out. I stood over, looking over that same spot that that Joe Biden has stood over, and his then vice president. They had just got elected, and they had this big ceremony for COVID, for people. And I remember that night watching my television. I'm like, thank you. He got it. He didn't get it because they didn't let him get it. And it was that moment, that the realization that Calvary was not coming. Nobody was coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. We have to fight on. So knowing that this fell on January 1st, 2026, I'm picking back up my torch. And you are relighting it for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because it's no going back. And with the flu and all this flu and the super flu, it's just COVID's cousin. Because we grew up with the flu. We all knew some sort of flu growing up. This is not nothing that we never dealt with. And now again, all the residue is coming out. All these things that we tried to tell people in 2020, 2021, 2022, we tried to tell y'all this shit is real. All of us are not lying. And it's not a figment of our imagination. Now, schools are closing, hospitals are full. Again, it's not the flu. It's COVID residue, because in my opinion, it never leaves your body. It never leaves your body. Every time I smile, or every time I put in these full set of dentures that I was blessed to have, because I had to do a GoFundMe to raise it, the money to get the dentures. So the people all over the world helped me get them. COVID is not over. Every time I go out the door, I have an inhaler in my pocketbook. It's not over. Every time I go to the doctor, or every time I have it affects you from head to toe. My hair literally would fall out while I was asleep. I would wake up, and my husband he was finding locks in the bed. My hair just fall out my head. This is what this, and now it's growing back. So COVID is not going from me, because it's a constant reminder of what could happen to me if I don't put on a mask. What to protect myself from selfish people. People were selfish before COVID. Now they're worse. It's no party in the room for me that I want to be in a crowded room with a whole bunch of people. No. It's no concert. No, nobody. No. And I love Brian Culbertson. When he comes outside, I'll go. But when he comes to Atlanta inside, it's a hard no. I go to YouTube and I watch it after the fact. Because people are, it can't stop. It's not. It won't. It's a breeding ground. Those are a convention. Is a COVID convention. A concert COVID is there, because people are so selfish, and rather and not to admit that they don't feel good or put on a mask, they go, I got a bug. That bug kills.
Exactly. Yeah, I've heard so many stories of people, whether they're posting on social media or whatever, like, you know, I know I have COVID or whatever other illness, but it's a Taylor Swift concert. I gotta go. Or, or like, I gotta get on my plane back home. And it's like the plane stuff, I at least get a little more because, it's like sometimes you're in a bind there. But what I've started saying for a long time now is if you can't afford to quarantine while you're traveling, then you can't afford to travel. And it frickin' sucks, but man, Yeah. But wow, yeah, that is such an amazing story. And apologies for any noise in the background. My hyper kitty is being hyper. But yeah, yeah, that's like just such a amazing journey, a tough journey. And yeah, like you were saying that, you went through the military, you got all these degrees, what did you study and has that helped you at all in dealing with this?
I have my doctorate in business, and no, because I say that because COVID didn't discriminate. COVID don't discriminate, and I thought I had it going on. I thought, and no, it took to it didn't. It was an accomplishment. I'm thankful that I was able to do it. But when I look back, it no, no, it didn't. It didn't because, like I said, I took speaking up for COVID early on. I got blacklisted. I guess you could say, because my face was I was so everywhere. I guess I was bad for business. I guess I was like, if she would shut her mouth, you know, but no, it didn't. Like I said, if I had to do it all over again, no, because there's nothing I can do with them now. There's nothing I want to do with them now because it, too many people got hurt.
Eh, I hear you. I hear you. And, earlier you mentioned like I always love seeing on Facebook you always post these messages even when like you're disheartened and angry. You say, and yet again I smile. And like that is such a heartwarming message. How did you come up with it and how does it help you?
And yet again, that smile, that was something that came upon me years ago. Years ago, I don't know. I guess I don't. Maybe it was during the time something was going on in my life, and then I just started to post it. And sometimes in the Facebook memories, it'll pop up, and it goes back years ago. And it would be something, something would happen, and then I'd be yet again I smile. So it became my tagline. It was the name of my life coaching business. I once had T-shirts and masks, but and yet again I smile on it. I actually started a Facebook group back in 2020, and I created that space because it was always a safe haven for people to come and share their thoughts, or share a laugh, or find a reason to smile. And it's still going on. It's still there. It's small in numbers, but I won't take it down because it's big, it's mighty, and it's battle we call life. A lot of people caught on to it, and they say you're right, and yet again I smile. Even though the world is a ghetto, even though this happened, and yet again I smile. So that it took off, it hit, it's stuck, it's still sticking, and yet again I smile.
That's so amazing,
That's
and
so
yeah,
amazing.
um, I do hope that like people. continue to catch on to that, even if it's still small, because, I find it so heartwarming. And you also mentioned earlier that, faith plays a part in your life, and uh, um, that you always wear a mask to church. As somebody who, I call myself an atheist Jew, I'd be very curious, like, how that plays a part in your life, in your advocacy, etc.
I I grew up from a child knowing God. I was introduced to God at such an early age. I was introduced to faith at a very early age. At one point, I had gotten away from it, because you all get grown, you think you don't know that. But then it's real for me. It's real for me because my church family surround me. I know that people prayed for me. I know that it had to be because like I was so to go through life and we all have stuff. We all have stuff, and some of us have some really big stuff. But my faith is what keeps me standing all day, every day. I I know that I know that God plays a major, major part in everything I say, everything that I do, because I could have been dead. I could have died a lot of times, or I was in situations that could have got me hurt or got people hurt. But for some reason, he always spared my life, and he's still doing amazing things in my life. He's still doing amazing things in my family's life. And so sometimes I talk to God and I'd be like, because we are always, you're told that your faith can shrink as small as a mustard seed. And quite a few times I had went to God, I'd be like, look, I got all these mustard seed. You can make a jar of mustard. What are you doing? What is going on? Why? And you'll be like, why not you? I look at my daughter. When my daughter was first born, they told me my daughter was going to be severely retarded, that she was going to be, I might as well sign up for SSI. She's not going to be this, she's not going to be that, because she was development delayed. Today, by God's grace, my daughter has her dream job here in Atlanta. My daughter is amazingly smart. She's beautiful. She's confident in herself. And that's because I believed, when they said, oh, she can't do this, she didn't talk. She was in special education. I taught her how to read through the TV guide and the Bernstein Bills and raising her up. Even when I didn't do right, I did right by her. Now I look at her and she is, I gave birth to my very best friend. So it's a lot of things that I know God did, and I don't, everybody has their own preference. I don't knock anybody because who am I? That's not even, I'm not even that, I don't have two nickels in that dime for anybody else's, what people believe in, what they don't believe in. I look at people for their hearts. I look past all of that. I don't see black, white, green, yellow, orange. That's another thing that I learned from COVID. I've always been a people person, but now if you full of shit, stay away from me. If you don't care, if you're a selfish person, I stay away from you, because you got to care about somebody, something to somebody. But everybody's preference, everybody could be whatever they want to be. I'm fine with that as long as they treat me nice. It's just so many different ways. Because like sometimes I post mass pretty much every day on Twitter. Sometimes them people come back at me so hard and they say some stuff to me. I put up there, I say your mama, and I keep moving. Or sometimes I'll say a little prayer for you. But I don't care what nobody says anymore. I'm past all that. I don't care what nobody do. You do you. I'll do me. He do he. She do he. But at the end of the day, if I have anything and you need it, sharing is caring. I'm not gonna see nobody hungry. I'm not gonna see nobody wet. I'm not gonna see nobody cold. I don't care whatever. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because I was spared. I don't know nobody's story. Everybody got a story. To look at people and think, oh, they just every day their life is sunshine and blue skies, and they don't believe in this and they don't believe in that. It takes too much time and energy for me. I don't have it. I got 2 dogs, a husband. I don't have time. I'm working. I retired in 62 because I had to retire because the money I had to have income. So once I got to the point that I could go back to work, I worked part-time. So I don't have time to be messing with nobody. I don't have time to worry about. I don't have. I don't. All I want people to do is to take care of themselves, put on a damn mask because that helps us as a whole. That helps us as a whole. The Kennedy Center. I'm sorry, Mar-a-Lago. Too bad.
Yeah, and yeah, that's so amazing. Like the way we all like deal in our own ways, in our yeah, like as you said, you can believe in this or believe in that, not believe in this, not believe in that, as long as you're doing good, right? And that's so true. And uh, but yeah, and you also mentioned, COVID has affected you on in so many parts of the body for so long, and that's so true of so many people. I think I recall seeing, and it may have been Julie who posted it, it can really interact and or make you vulnerable to other infections. And
Yes,
uh, um,
yes.
yeah, do you have any experience with that, or have you felt
I
that?
am. I am. Yeah, my immune system is compromised. It's no amount of vitamin C that's going to change that. It's no cure. It's no cure because it's so many different COVID affects so many different parts of the body. You can't cure because what it done to one person, it might not do to another person. What it done, my doctors explained to me those spots on my liver, we'll monitor them. The nodules in your lungs, we'll monitor them. They did a biopsy early on. They were not cancerous. They're just there. The sarcoidosis that's in my lungs, it could spread. So my body I can't, yeah. I'm immune compromised. I don't want to go down because I didn't try to save myself. I know I never been that sick in my life. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to go through the diarrhea and the intense and the throwing up and the night sweats and the nightmares so freaking intense till you want to sit up all night long because you're scared to go to sleep. I don't want to be like a limp, like a wet washcloth because I can't move. I'm crawling. I don't want to put my body, I don't want to put my family through that again. That was hard on my family. So I know my body can't take it. So I have to do everything to to heal myself as best as I can. Like I said, my therapist, one more spot because I was a mess. Because I was that was like I'm losing everything. My bank account is and the student loans. I can't pay this. I can't pay. I can't. and then I'll get a text, and yet again I smile from somebody else, and I'm like, yes, I can. My in 2020, during that time when I was so sick, my husband came home with this little picture of this little puppy that somebody had, and he brought that dog home. I looked right at that dog and I named the dog Healer, Healer, in all capital letters. I can't, I can't. He helped me heal. That dog, he to this day, if I sneeze, he run, he'll run. He watch me. He lay beside, he watch every. So, yeah, I can't. Yeah, immune compromise. I don't want to take. I don't even want to take my dog through that again. He has been my healer. And they be like, where you get that name from? Then I have to tell the story about how I looked at him and I was so sick, but I looked at him and I knew he was going to help me heal and I named him Healer. And he has a school picture that I have in my phone with this tag around. He's sitting up like he's in the first grade. Healer.
Oh my God, I love that so much. And yeah, like I feel the same way about my cats is like I know they're gonna be there for me even if the people ain't there for me, right? You know? Yeah, and like that's so amazing when you have, pets in your life because they really are there for you in
They
so
are
many ways.
so many ways.
Yeah.
So many ways. So yeah, I am immune compromised. But again, wearing that mask for 5 years, going on 6 years. And if it takes six more, I'll do it. I have every color mask, every mask matches the glasses matches the mask, it matches the colors, color coordinated. During the holidays, I had ordered little tattoos that I had on my mask. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, do you find that like having the colorful masks, the mask decorations, etc., do you find that they help either with cheering you up or encouraging other people?
It does both. It does both because it lets people know, you can still mask it, man. You can hook a mask up. You can hook a mask up, and they'll say, "Where'd you get that color mask from?" Or where, so it does make me, it makes me feel, but it makes other people who are also wearing masks inspired. I think I would have never thought to put a tattoo on my mask. Yeah. And oh my gosh, your glasses match your mask, and your mask match your outfit, and everything. Yeah, you have fun with it. It's something I have to do. It's something I have to do. I have to do it. So I might as well. I had to find a way to make it fun for me. I had to find a way to learn to live with it because it's mandatory in my world. So I make it fun. I make it fun. I make it fun. And we used to, when we first started Mask Together America, it was so big and people had all kind of masks on and they were just, and Judy, it was just good. But it's still serving its purpose now. But it's on a whole nother scientific level now. Because when I was when I was with the NIH, when I decided to step aside, I encouraged Julie to pick up where I left off. And it's, a couple of times I'm like, I'm sorry, Julie, I'll put you in that mess. But then I'm glad I did because she's good at what she does. She's a very, she can take a room. She's very good. She's good at what she does. So she's taking it to a whole nother level on it. She can do with the data, with the science, with the wording. She's an amazing writer. So she does. She took it to she picked up where I left off and kept it going.
Yeah, I love like I'm obviously much newer to Mask Together America than you are as you being a founding member and all that, but in the short time I've been involved with the Mask Together America. Like you said, Julia is such an amazing writer, and part of my training is journalism and editing, especially around complex subjects, and Julia is just such a joy to edit. So,
Well, thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, and what has your involvement been in Mask Together America? How have you been involved, and how has it been involved in your life?
Because I was there from the onset and I watched Julie's baby just grow, just grow and just grow and going out and helping people find different masks and find different pictures. It was good for me. It was good. I'm still there. I'm just not as active in it as I was when I was younger a few years ago. I still support everything that they do. But like I said, it's going to a level now with the science involved in it, with the data involved in it, with the qualitative and the quantitative. It's going where it needs to go. It's going where it needs to go because it needs to resonate with the people in power. It needs to be at some point. It is my prayer that at some point, if nothing else, they will acknowledge that masks do work. They will acknowledge that we didn't make this up. We did not make this up. This is not a fairy. This ain't Charlotte's Web. This ain't a fairy tale. This is real life with real people with real consequences. And that's where it's going now. That's where I want it to go now because we I banged on that door until I got my foot in that door, until I got my head in that door. But then the realization is I wasn't the person to take it to the next level, but I knew somebody that could. I knew that Julie could because it was a lot of things that was happening and a lot of things that went on that I was able to share with her. And like I said, Julie has her the gift of words. She can take when I say I don't give a damn, she can clean it up. That's. So it was time for me to step aside. I left on very good terms. I left on my own terms. I announced it, that I was stepping. But seeing Julie now, like I said, now I'm going into 2026. She's still there. She's still there. She's still there because they could use all those big words. The world can use all those big words they want to. But my girl Julie breaking down to the least common denominator. Well, you said this, but in actuality, this is what it is. And I'm going to wear these masks. People are still going to support me in these masks. I'm going to travel in these masks. I'm going to go across the world in these masks. I'm going to go meet people over this side of the world, here, there, with the mask.
Yeah. Oh, it's
So
so
she's
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the way she, I think she either currently is or was recently visiting her son in England for the new year. And like the documentary work she's been doing with the folks she knows there is just amazing, and yeah, power to her. I'm definitely
yeah,
gonna shout her out in the show notes and all that because, as you said, she's had such an amazing impact on so many people's lives, including our own. Uh, Um,
yeah,
yeah, and
yes.
you mentioned earlier how supportive and amazing your doctors have been from mental health to physical health. And is that something you've had to work to find, or
Yes, Yes, because in 2020, when I first got sick, the doctor that I had at that point, she told me that I was mimicking what I was seeing on television, that if I wanted to get better, I should watch Lifetime movies and work jigsaw puzzles. And I'm crying. I'm begging. I'm lady. I'm dying. Please help me. Please, please. What are you? Please, you're supposed to be my doctor. You've been my doctor for 5 years. What are you doing? She got fired. She got fired real quick, and I was able to with the from from my help with my daughter because she works in the medical field, but she's on the administrative side. She's behind the scenes. I was able to find a doctor who believed in me. I was able to find a doctor who could go back and see what help me find out what was wrong with me and help me get people who could do the test to find out what the damage that was done. My therapist, yes. So it's just it wasn't like that in the beginning. It was definitely not like that in the beginning, because the doctors didn't know, and they still don't know. They still don't know. But and a lot of them took that oath. They need to take it back because they gaslit us so doggone bad. It's like, oh, you just take this pill and take that pill and take this pill and take this pill and then trying to maneuver through that system. Through that, it's sad. It's still sad to this day because there are people who are truly, truly can't work, that are disabled. But they make that process so doggone hard. They tell it's like, oh, you could work, go get a job. You can get a job. You can work in a movie theater. What? So it hasn't always been where I am now, but I'm here now. Like I said, I have an amazing team. They monitor me. I have a lung test coming up this coming Monday. And I'm just going to go in there and do the best. I'm going to blow the best I can because I know, I know it's there. I know what's going on. I know it's not no cure, but at least they got me comfortable.
I hear that. I'm so glad that you found good doctors eventually. And man, so many people have those horror stories of what the heck you telling me about? Oh, just don't, watch the sad stuff. What? That, oh my goodness. For people who are still going through that and trying to find good doctors who will take them seriously, who will mask around them or whatever else, do you have any advice?
Don't be don't be disheartened. Don't be discouraged. Um, know your body. Know your body. Know your body. Listen to your body. And sometimes you can not, I don't want to say cure. Sometimes you can make yourself feel better. Because if you know, say for me, if you know something, if you eat something and COVID don't like it, your body don't like it, it'll tell you don't eat it no more. I haven't had a soda in 5 years because the last soda that I drank, it was a ginger ale. I thought it was gonna help me. It felt like I had drank syrup, and I was laying in the floor, beating my, trying to get over that. But again, my doctor said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you it's not going to happen again, but it's a possibility that it might." So that's enough for me. That wasn't. You didn't have to write no prescription. Same thing with my favorite Hershey bar, Hershey bar with almonds. I ate that. It did the same thing in 5 years. So sometimes, especially now, because this a lot of people don't have access to health insurance. They taking that away. A lot of places, the free clinics is overwhelmed with people, and if you have anybody in your circle, if you know somebody that knows somebody, even if they're a nurse practitioner, reach out to people. Reach out to people. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. Just say, rather than sitting there and Google this, just ask. Just say, you just tap into them. You know what? Can I ask you a question? Can I be straight with you? I don't have medical insurance, but I'm feeling a little. What do you think? Or do you think? Because sometimes a closed mouth don't get fed, and you just never know. There are people that are willing to help. They quiet about it. A lot of doctors have retired now because of COVID. A lot of nurses have retired now. But we all know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Don't suffer in silence. And don't be Googling stuff. Just like I say, ask somebody. Well, I don't know nobody. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. If you just ask the question. And because health insurance is they done made it so we can't afford it. They done made it so we
Mhm.
can't afford it. So now, just like I said, ask around. Don't suffer. Ask around because it might be a retired doctor or a retired nurse or a retired nurse practitioner who volunteers at the senior citizen center, something like that can be of some help because at least not saying they can give you write a prescription, but sometimes they can give you peace of mind or they can make you think back. Well, you know what? Maybe you might let me get you somebody that I know can answer this question, or maybe let me get somebody because as we myself included now, I'm 65, I'm considered senior citizens now. We old. We've been tossed out. So we old. We don't have all the answers, but we do have resources. You know what? I might, but let me see. I know if somebody else might have the same problem because peace of mind is better than nothing.
It's so true. And I'm probably gonna steal that phrase, closed mouth and don't get fed. Like that is the best way I've heard of putting it. I've heard other people say, like the answer is always no if you don't ask, but like that illustrates it so perfectly, you know. Um yeah, and like it really is amazing the way like we decide once you're quote unquote old, as you said, it's like, oh, we don't need you anymore. Come on, like, to me, like, 65 is still young. I'm not there yet, but it's still young, and it's not like you're about to, ship off to the nursing home necessarily, right? Like there's so many valuable years you've got, and so much wisdom that you can share with us. It's just amazing to me the way it's like, oh, like we don't want people who are too young with no experience, but we also don't want the people who have all this experience and are still raring to go. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like to me, like you are such a great role model in that, like, hey, come on, 65 is still young, and you're doing all this amazing stuff, you know. Eh, And is there anything in particular that you've been getting into doing or sharing that you would like to add?
I'm 2020. My words for myself for 2026 is pivot. And sometimes you got to go this way. Sometimes you got to turn around. Sometimes you got to move this foot. You got to do. Um, it's early on. This is the first day of this year, and we all, as a whole, have seen what's coming down the pipe for us. There is no. It's the haves and the have-nots for real at this point. So if you can do, if I could say anything, just give a person a smile, a kind word. share a mask. Share a mask. I have, whether they, you know what, you might want to use this. Do little things. Do little things because that's what's missing from the world now. They moved on. It's all about that money. But for me, I'm taking it upon myself to continue to be as nice to people as I possibly can. And that's if I have to leave, always find a reason to smile. If it's nothing in the refrigerator but the light and the Arm& Hammer, smile because at least you have a refrigerator. If the little things, okay, so we can't, you can't buy 12 eggs, buy 6. Little things that we can do for ourselves to help cure ourselves because nobody's coming to save us. But at some point, we will get acknowledged. I don't know about whom. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a whole speech made that's gonna that's gonna rock everybody's world, but somebody's gonna say we were telling the truth.
Amen. And apparently my cat agrees with you. Um, and yeah, thank you so, so much for taking the
Thank
time
you.
on New Year's Day. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's to you, and thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting Julie. Thank you for supporting Chris Kocher, who you don't know, but started the foundation. Thank you for Amy Watson, because if she would smile at this endeavor. She would, she is definitely a long hauler up in Oregon. And thank you for supporting Diana Barrett, who started Survivor Corps. So with all those people now, we have passed the torch on to you, my amazing New Year's Day friend. Do good. Always find a reason to smile. And thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you have done and the work that you're going to continue to do.
Right back at you. You're really, truly an inspiring way for me to start the new year, and I hope it will be for other folks too. So thank you again, and have a lovely, lovely new year.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.